So we're beginning a new journey today, going through Śaraṇāgati by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our most worshipable gurus in modern history. So I think it would be nice to keep this, we want to warm up, the style of our group has been slowly at our own pace moving through these texts and we don't need to change that. So today we're going to have like a warm-up to Śaraṇāgati. There are a couple of introductory sections in the book which we're going to go through. But I'd also love to hear something from Suvasini Didi. Perhaps you can share some of your inspiration or tell us what is this songbook Śaraṇāgati? Give some background for those in our group who aren't so familiar. I'd love to hear from you, Didi.
Dandavats to everyone. Dandavats Vishaka. Vishaka, I think you'll be the best person to give a good introduction, I think. I will say something maybe a little later.
Please,
but
something,
yeah, maybe a little later. But I think the best introduction you can give, probably much better than me, I think. So, well, I can just say Śaraṇāgati is actually the foundation really for devotional practices. I think that is as we heard from our spiritual teachers, that is actually you can say all the devotion, the world of devotion is built on Śaraṇāgati. And so we have gone through earlier this one book, which is the Prapana Jivanamritam, which is the beautiful book by Srila, the Guru Maharaj who compiled the verses of, Śaraṇāgati, with his own inspiration for insight into each verse, which is beautiful, which we went through. So Śaraṇāgati is actually also we heard that it is, all the practices actually is, there is one sloka, I can't remember. First you offer everything, all the practices, and, first you, surrender, and then you do the service. Actually, that is first, what is that verse? Shaka?
Ado Arpita Paschat Kriyeta. That one.
Yeah. So that is actually the basis, like otherwise it will be mixed with, karma mishra bhakti and jnana mishra bhakti. It is like they can be mixed. So if you do everything and then offer, but rather than doing that, they first you surrender, offer, and then you do it. That is actually the vision of the devotees, which we hear from through our spiritual teachers. And Paul, I think Vishaka, you can continue with some insight into the book of Śaraṇā by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I think that will be very good to hear from you.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Didi. That was beautiful and perfect as always. I'll just start by saying, this topic of Śaraṇāgati, it's very, very close to our hearts. For those who are practicing devotion in a serious way, Śaraṇāgati, the principle of surrender, is right at the heart of the practice. And you could say, if you want to know like how serious a bhakti practitioner is, then you can look at how much importance they give to this principle of Śaraṇāgati. Because, especially nowadays, and I'm in Southern California right now, bhakti is taking on a lot of popularity. I mean, now there are these big festivals. There's Bhakti Fest, there's Shakti Fest, there's Bhakti Love, right? There are all these, I don't know if we'd say mainstream, but we can definitely say popular, becoming mainstream this whole culture of bhakti, devotion. But generally what we find is missing in these popular forms of bhakti is this principle of Śaraṇāgati, right? It's not that devotion is something that is to enhance our lives. And of course it will, but that's not the main point, not that something that's going to make us, it's like we're still in the center, we're still number one, right? And this is something that's going to make us, more healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? Or whatever it may be. And the thing is, the whole culture of bhakti, it's very beautiful, like on an external level, it's very charming and beautiful and enjoyable, right? Kirtan, beautiful music, and interesting people, and wonderful food, and interesting topics, and right, there's this whole like layer which is very enjoyable and interesting, very engaging, right? And then you can also look at, like on the surface, at different people practicing bhakti, and they all look the same. But what distinguishes what's real and what's not, what's serious and what's not, what's mature and what's not, is how much this principle of Śaraṇāgati is at the center. And what is that principle? That I am for that, right? Not that is for me, and I want to surrender myself to that. It's like you could say the deepest understanding of what love is, right? Superficial love is, I love pizza. I love something that's there for my enjoyment. But the deepest type of love is such that it moves you to give yourself, to sacrifice yourself for the sake of your beloved, right? And so, real bhakti is based on this foundation, as Suvasini said, of Śaraṇāgati, of devotion. So, this is, Śaraṇāgati is everything for us. And our Param Guru, our grandfather Guru, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, she made this very nice point that, sometimes we may think of Śaraṇāgati as a means to the end, right? That, by surrender, we will achieve the end of devotion or prema, divine love. But he said, actually, that's not the case. He says, actually, the thing is Śaraṇāgati. The thing that we want is Śaraṇāgati. And he said, it's like the difference between a post-dated check and a cash-in-hand payment. That he said, as much like Śaraṇāgati is like a cash-in-hand payment, in the sense that as much as you have that, so much you're already getting. Right, that is the wealth, right? To have surrender, to have Śaraṇāgati, that is the goal. that is the, that's what it's all about, beginning, middle, and end, right? And so in my friend Isha Bandhu, he likes to say sometimes, like if we really examine what we are about, like what we're practicing, it's about the science of Śaraṇāgati. Like that's what real Krishna consciousness is, So this is a very, very central topic for us. And we're fortunate that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's given us this wonderful songbook, where he's discussing the principles of Śaraṇāgati in a very charming and accessible manner, in the form of song. And we'll see as we go through this book, and we also have seen that in going through Srila Sridhar Maharaj's work, Prapana Jivanamrita, right? We see that Śaraṇāgati is described as having 6 aspects. And so in this songbook, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, he has like the book divided in these 6 sections, and each limb of Śaraṇāgati is being explored through different songs. And it's just occurring to me, we actually have some recordings that were made by some of our devotees of those songs. We could also listen to those songs as we go through. That will be cool. Let me think. There were a couple other things I wanted to say, but it kind of slipped my mind right now. They'll come back later. Well, maybe we can open up the book. Before we do open up the book, does anyone else in the group here today want to mention some inspiration related to this, or pose a question before we begin? And welcome to Scarlett, who joined us in the last few minutes. Okay, well then maybe we'll do a screen share. Let me see here. Is this what we want? Is that it? Not sure. Okay, so Śaraṇāgati. Okay, so yeah, then another thing to mention is we're very, very fortunate. Not only do we have these beautiful songs by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but we also have this commentary by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, our Param Guru, our grandfather Guru, which is called Śaraṇāgati Chandrika Bhashya. Gentle Moonlight Commentary. Hello. Sorry, Hola. Sí, bien, usted.
Gracias. ¿Puedo limpiar?
Sí, gracias.
No quería
¿Qué
que
dice?
vino hasta aquí.
No, in Santa Barbara.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, my hostess is away at the moment. I'm receiving her friendly cleaning lady here.
Shaka, this is Bhagavad Gita, actually.
Are you seeing Bhagavad Gita?
Well,
You're
this
not...
is... No, we are saying Bhagavad Gita, actually. This is...
You're seeing Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
Oh, that's strange. That's some funny... Okay, let me try again. Scarlett, did you want to say something?
Exactly that.
Okay. This is some funny thing on a Mac. You have to select exactly which tab. It doesn't work like that on PC.
Do you want me
I
to
don't know.
share? I can
Put
try
the
to
link in
share.
the chat.
Okay, sure, Didi, if you want to do that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever gonna. I think they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I'm trying to use a Mac for the first time, and I'm really struggling. I think I'm too old. So this commentary is Lagu Chandrika Bhashya. Lagu is light. Chandrika is referring to moonlight. Bhashya is commentary. Gentle moonlight commentary. So that's a whole discussion too. Like, what's the meaning of that name? It's a beautiful name. So the idea is that, like, what is moonlight? Moonlight is giving some illumination, right? So the idea is that in this commentary, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is humbly giving some further illumination to the to the words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then you see he's put gentle in there, right? So that's indicating humility, right? I'm just like shining a little light, my little flashlight, not that, that's the Vaishnavas are humble and shy, right? To share their realizations. So he's saying in this humble way, I'm just giving like shining little gentle moonlight, to help the readers understand further, and sharing my own inspiration. And so this commentary is really special because Srila Sridhar Maharaj is also one of the most significant points about it. This commentary is that Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he is revealing the profundity, the depth. Oh, can we just pause here? So here's Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who's the author this song, Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Jai. So, you know, because the thing about, one thing about these songs is that they're, on some level, they're deceptively simple, right? And, you know, like, it's clear he's speaking spiritual truths, but it's, what's not clear is how much is behind everything that's being said, like how much of the Siddhanta, how much of the teachings, perfect theological conclusions, and how much scripture is behind, how much scriptural reference is behind these, you know, simple Bengali expressions. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj is revealing that in his commentary. You know, maybe you could scroll just so everyone can see the title written out with the Lagu Chandrika Bhashya. You scroll to the beginning.
On this point, I also want to say that Gurudev said, if all the literatures, scriptures vanish from the world, and if only Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs remain, then we have everything.
Jai, Jai.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here, so just so everyone can see, you know, this Lagu Chandrika Bhashya, you know, this is gentle moonlight commentary. This is Srila Sridhar Maharaj's work. And so, yeah, so in this commentary, he's pointing out all the deep scriptural references and theological points that are behind these charming verses. So that's an invaluable resource, you know, that Srila Sridhar Maharaj is giving us. All the resource sounds like so prosaic. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that the time when Srila Sridhar Maharaj composed this, and maybe Suvasiji can confirm, I believe it was in Vrindavan. He mentions in one place, at the time when his guru's mission, the Gaudiya Math, had just broken up. And he was kind of like in this transition period of leaving his guru's mission, you know, which in the aftermath of his guru's departure had become fractured in so many ways. And so he went and he spent a month, it was the month of Kartik, I believe, in Vrindavan, this holy month, which is coming up now, actually. And it was at that time that he composed this. And then it was after that, you know, wrote this commentary. And then after that, he proceeded to Navadvip, and he ended up settling in Navadvip. And that's when he wrote, he put together Prapana Jivanamrita. You know, so, you know, which is interesting. It seems like he did these things more or less back to back. And both of these are, you know, wonderful expositions on Śaraṇāgati, on surrender. So okay, well, maybe we can go forward in the text, Didi. Can go on to Gurudev's preface, I believe, taken from Gurudev's talks. So there are a few introductory sections in this text. And so then this is the other cool thing, right? Our Gurudev published this book. So it's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs published, you know, with Srila Sridhar Maharaj's commentary, and then published by our Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. And so there's also an introduction by our Gurudev. So it's very cool. There are all these lens, right, which are helping us to appreciate more and more. Okay, we'll read from here, Didi. And, you know, this is, our Gurudev gave this wonderful analogy of a telescope, right, in explaining the significance of Guru Parampara, right, the Guru, the succession, our succession of Gurus, that, you know, our line of Gurus, they're not obscuring our vision, but they're enhancing our vision, right? And so the more lens are placed in front of your eyes, the more you're actually able to see. It's not that your sight is being blocked, right? So, you know, the more Vaishnavas have been involved, right, in the production of something, you know, the more valuable, the more enhanced it becomes, right? So this is very, very precious for us. And yeah, and I believe it was one of the first things that our Gurudev published when that was something our Gurudev took upon himself to begin publishing, and he made this printing press, Jaya Shri, and he published a number of things from their books, and there was the Gaudiya Darshan magazine and other things, and so he the Śaraṇāgati was one of the things that he also published. Now, this particular text, it's not from the original publication that was our Gurudev published. This introductory part was put together from talks of our Gurudev in later years, where he's expressing his appreciation for Śaraṇāgati. And then coming up, there will be the official introduction that he composed. Okay, well, so in praise of Śaraṇāgati, we can read Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. Steve, do you want to read this for our group today?
Sure. In praise of Śaraṇāgati, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshas Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, gave much attention to the writings of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is very sober and has expressed our conception in a very beautiful way through his songs. I feel and think that for anyone who practices Krishna consciousness, who is eager to practice Krishna consciousness, and has affection for the line of Krishna consciousness, it is not necessary to read anything else. The songs of Bhakti Vinod Thakur are sufficient. That is, one will obtain all knowledge through his songs. You may not find all the references for this knowledge in his songs, but you will find all knowledge and our conception expressed very clearly there. I think the songs of Bhakti Vinod Thakur are sufficient for everyone, and whenever I get a chance to read the songs of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, you do not know how much happiness I felt when Śaraṇāgati was published in a beautiful form. Many books of Srila Guru Maharaj had been published. We were very happy to see even Brahma Samhita published. But when Śaraṇāgati was published, I was overjoyed to see her form. Bankim Chandra, the emperor of Bengali literature, wrote, Balya Prema Vara Śaraṇāgati. This means that the very strong love felt between young men and women is unbreakable and is the sweetest form of love in this world. When I was very young and first joined Krishna consciousness, Srila Guru Maharaj gave me Śaraṇāgati. I first published Śaraṇāgati for Srila Guru Maharaj in 1949, and at that time I felt this type of happiness. I felt my experience of Balya Prema was with Śaraṇāgati. When I joined the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj as a young boy, he gave me this book and said, if you can memorize it, you take it. I had some capacity as a kirtan singer from my childhood, and Srila Guru Maharaj wanted to begin training me according to my qualifications. As a boy, I had learned from my father many Vaishnava songs. They were good songs, no doubt, but they are songs which are sung by Sahajas. Srila Guru Maharaj told me, first you must forget all of those songs. And I said, yes, I will not sing any of those songs again. And I never sang those songs again. Later, maybe 25 or 30 years later, Srila Guru Maharaj wanted to hear some of those songs from me, and he asked me, can you remember those songs now? I said, Maharaj, I cannot remember the style of singing for those songs. Anyhow, when Srila Guru Maharaj first gave me Śaraṇāgati, he tick-marked 32 songs and said, Memorize these 32 songs within 7 days. Then every day, one by one, or as required, you can sing those songs. That book is still in my room, and I memorized those songs. How that happened, I do not know. Now my memory is not always working. Still, I hate to look at the book when I am singing. I never want to sing any song which I do not know. All the songs are within my memory. Now, maybe I may miss one point as I am singing, but still I am ever prepared to read from the book as I sing. And that was Srila Guru Maharaj's style. Guru Maharaj knew all the songs and he would always sing them without the book. Previously, he sang so much. He sang all the songs and showed us everything. After I joined, Guru Maharaj got some relief and would give charge to me saying, Govinda Maharaj, you sing, you sing, you sing. During assemblies of devotees, Srila Guru Maharaj would always request me to sing 2 particular songs from Śaraṇāgati. Emana Dharmati Samsara Bitare and Ki Jani Ki Bale Tomara Damete. Guru Maharaj gave me these 2 songs for my own realization. He wanted that every day I would really think, Ki Jana Ki Bale Tomara Damete Ha Inu Śaraṇāgata. By what force have I surrendered into your lotus feet? Every day, very nice Sankirtan is happening here in our temple. I cannot go and join the Sankirtan party, but I am always joining with the devotees mentally. I also hear the songs they are singing. Every day they are singing such beautiful songs. It is very important to have some realization about those songs. Every phrase within the songs we sing is very sweet and very meaningful, and it is necessary to realize why we are singing these songs every day. Through that realization, we can cross over illusion. We have heard from Srila Guru Maharaj many times that Prabhupada Srila Saraswati Thakur would tell his disciples that some of the songs are very important to realize. He would say especially that the song Amara Jivana Shada Paperata is very important for practitioners to realize. Srila Guru Maharaj told us that he would say that we must realize the position of our own self. What are we doing? What are we eating? How are our activities going on? We must have some realization about these things. I am thinking it is no doubt difficult for everyone to go on living every day without worldly forms of enjoyment. I am always thinking so much about the situation of the conditioned souls in the mundane world. It is unpalatable and very hard, no doubt. But Srila Saraswati Thakur's advice is that we must clean our mind every day by singing the songs of Śaraṇāgati, and especially this song, Amara Jivana Shada Paperata. Just as we clean our home when we awaken in the morning by sweeping with a broom, so we should clean our mind by sweeping it with this song. By sweeping our mind with this song, the dirt within it is removed. It becomes cleaned, and our activities are redirected in the proper way. Srila Guru Maharaj told us this many times. It is necessary to sweep clean our minds every day through Sankirtan. It is very good that the devotees are patiently trying to follow this. I am getting inspiration by seeing their activities. Maya, the illusory environment of Lord Krishna, is always living beside us and trying to attract us. But by the grace of the mood of surrender and devotion to Lord Krishna, under the direction of Guru Vaishnava, we must cross over the illusory environment. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Guru Maharaj have tried to give the conditioned souls inspiration to surrender. This is the primary purpose of their teachings. I have seen that it is not necessary to know so many things. If you know how to swim, then you can cross a river. You do not need to know where the river is coming from, where it is going, what is inside the river, or which way the river is flowing. You do not need to check the speed at which the river is flowing, or analyze the river with a barometer, temperature gauge, or anything else. You only need to know how to swim and in which direction you need to swim. That is sufficient for swimming across a river. The knowledge presented in Śaraṇāgati by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is like that. It is clear, simple knowledge, which by itself is sufficient for us to cross over this illusory environment and reach the divine abode of the Lord. Śaraṇāgati is a small book. All wealth is present within it in a glorious way. Through the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we get the gist of all the scriptures. If all the scriptures disappeared from this mundane world, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs remained, we would still have everything. We can get everything through his songs.
Right. Thank you, Steve. So that you know, our Gurudev, he gives that wonderful analogy of swimming across a river, and that was something that we heard him mention a few times, and it's very helpful. You know, ultimately, you know, this is a living, you know, practice. It's not a matter of theory, right? And you know, we want to taste the honey inside the jar, not just be the bee on the glass outside, right? So, you know, someone may be able to analyze all the chemical components of the honey and so on and so forth, but not be tasting that honey, right? And to taste the honey, you know, you just need to have access, you know, to get in and have that taste, right? You don't need to know all the theory around it, around the taste. And so our Gurudev's explained, right? Śaraṇāgati, surrender, is like that. You know, the nature of devotion, you know, the nature of prema, the nature of our relationship with Krishna. It is like that, you know, it is a living experience, and there are living principles that we need to follow in order to have that living experience. So it's very helpful, that analogy. So that is what Śaraṇāgati is, right? It's giving us that like practical, essential aspect of Krishna consciousness, which will help us to cross that river, right? To swim across that river and reach the lotus feet of Krishna, Guru Gauranga. Okay, well, let's read this. And this is also not part of the original publication, but this is from one or perhaps two talks, like informal talks of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, where he's mentioning the text. Suvasanji, do you want to read this? And welcome Giridhari Prabhu. I saw Giridhari Prabhu joined us.
In praise of Śaraṇāgati by Srila Bhakti-Rakar Sridhara Dev Goswami Maharaj. When I entered Sri Gaudiya Math, I received Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's small Bengali book, Śaraṇāgati, for the very first time. It was so sweet to me that I purchased several copies and distributed them amongst my friends. Its price was only 4 paisa. It was so sweet, it touched my heart. I thought, here is Krishna. Krishna Katha talks of Krishna, is Krishna himself. Here is talk about Krishna, the Adokshaja, the transcendental. I later composed a short commentary when I was in Nandagram, and it is published along with Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary in Bengali. I wrote an introductory poem to the commentary on Śaraṇāgati. Svaira charabdi samagnan jivan gaurangri pankaje udritya Śaraṇāpater mahatmyam samabhodayat. All the conditioned souls are samagna, they are diving or struggling in the ocean of svairachara or pleasure seeking, anya bilash, immoral or whimsical activities. Gaurangri Pangaje Udritya. Taking them out of that ocean, you put them in the lotus. You took them to the lotus feet of Gauranga. You collected them from the wide, troubled ocean and gave them to the lotus feet of Gauranga. Udritya Sharanapate Mahatmyam Samabodhayat. And so, having placed them there, you began to instruct them about the great nobility and high value of Śaraṇāgati, exclusive surrender. Samabodhayat. You tried to make them understand and realize the efficacy of Śaraṇāgati proper. You, my Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, did so. So I bow down unto you first. Then I also wrote a verse offering obeisance unto the writer of Śaraṇāgati, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So
we're gonna come to that. Srila Sridhar Maharaj is mentioning that he composed that verse as part of his Lagu Chandrika Bhashya, his commentary in Śaraṇāgati. So we're gonna come to that so we can explore it a bit more. That verse that he's mentioning, it's one of my all-time favorites. It's such wonderful imagery, like we're the conditioned souls drowning. And what are we drowning in? The ocean of our own mundane desires. And he's, offering praise to his guru. You've lifted us out of that ocean, placed us at the feet of Mahaprabhu. And having done so, what have you done? You've instructed us in the greatness of Śaraṇāgati. So very wonderful verse and very sweet comments by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So okay, so now we've come to this 19. This is like the text that our Gurudev published. So our Gurudev joined his guru's mission 1947, 17-year-old boy. And look at this, 2 years later, 1949, he publishes this. I mean, he's 19 years old. I mean, how impressive is that? And I believe this is our Gurudev's Srila Govinda Maharaj's editor's note, right? Can you just scroll down to the bottom? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it's collected the different, the verses from the scriptures, right?
Right.
Them together.
So this is also, quite impressive for a 19-year-old. Okay, well, maybe I'll read this here. So this is editor's note from the original, translated from the original 1949 Bengali edition. Jai Shri Gurudev. Srila Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the magnanimous, eternally liberated associate of Sri Gaura Sundar, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends in the age of Kali as the savior of the fallen, has described the fundamental characteristics of pure devotion in his songbook known as Śaraṇāgati. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu, has described the distinction between surrender, Śaraṇāgati, and detachment, akinchanatva, as follows. So this is interesting. Surrender and detachment. What is the distinction? Śaraṇāgatir kinchaner ekai lakan tar madhye praveshai atma samarpam. Shadana loya kore Krishna atma samarpan. Krishna tare kore tat kale atmasam. Although a devotee who is surrendered to Krishna, Śaraṇāgata, and a devotee who is detached from this world, a kincham, have the same external characteristics. The surrender devotee has the superlative qualification of having fully offered their very soul to Krishna. As soon as a surrendered soul takes shelter of Krishna and fully offers themselves to him, Krishna immediately accepts him as his own, as an associate equal to himself. Being detached from this world, akinchan, maintaining genuine faith, shraddha within the heart, and taking shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna in all respects, is said to be Śaraṇāgati. The fundamental teachings of Śaraṇāgati are found within the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, the Puranas, other scriptures auxiliary to the Vedas, and the writings of all the previous acharyas. Herein, I'm citing a few examples from these sources of knowledge. So, I'll just add one point here. You know, and this is similar to the style of how Srila Sridhar Maharaj begins his work on this topic, you know, Prapana Jivanamrita, that first there's like this establishing of the fact that, you know, there are credentials to this subject matter. This isn't something that we've just pulled out of our hat, you know, that Śaraṇāgati is so important. And so there are all these citations from scripture that are being referenced, you know, where Śaraṇāgati, the principle of surrender, is being emphasized. So it's like, you know, just like from the beginning, making that clear. This isn't just our thing, but actually, if you look with a discerning eye, all over the place, the scriptures are speaking on the importance of this. And so our Gurudev, you know, Srila Sridhar Maharaj begins the first section in Prapana Jivanamrita is giving reference from scripture, and then later is going into what's perhaps more juicy, coming from the hearts of the Vaishnavas. And so here our Gurudev, similarly in his introduction, he's starting out with all these scriptural citations. So we can hear that. In the Shruti, Shamak Shavalam Prapadye, Shavalak Shamam Prapadye, Chandogya Upanishad. By the mercy of Sham, Krishna, I surrender unto Shavala, Radha. By the mercy of Shavala, I surrender unto Sham. And this is an interesting kind of cryptic verse. You know, and one of the points here is that Sham, right? Sham is referring to Krishna, but Sham, like Krishna, one meaning is black, right? And then Shavala is referring to Radha, and Shavala also means white. So that's one interesting kind of like poetic play here, right? By the mercy of black, I surrender unto white. By the mercy of white, I surrender unto black. And it's Radha, Krishna who are being referred to. And you know, and of course, like what's actually being stated here is a really interesting and intriguing point, you know, that it's kind of like this circular thing. And then another thing here is that this principle of Radha, that is also indicating in a broad sense, guru, right? So sometimes we hear of this verse referenced in that way, right? By the mercy of Krishna, I surrender to Guru. And by the mercy of Guru, I surrender to Krishna. You know, or if we get more to the point, you know, it's by the mercy of Krishna that we connect with Guru, that we find Guru. And then it's by the mercy of Guru that we can make a real connection to Krishna. So it's a very interesting point, right? And it's something our Gurudev and Param Gurudev have discussed, right? The first connection is with Krishna, actually. But if you want a deep connection with Krishna, then he sends you Guru. Because a substantial relationship with him is only possible when it's through the channel of Guru, right? Of the guide. And so he will send Guru, right? And it's also a beautiful example of the living nature of this process, right? You know, And as our Gurudev liked to say, help will come from above. We are in sincere earnestness for that, right? So, yeah. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention was our Gurudev. He mentioned the example of Dhruva Maharaj, right? When Dhruva Maharaj, little boy saint, right, described in the scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, he goes to the forest to meditate and he attracts the attention of Lord Vishnu. What does Lord Vishnu do? He sends Narada to him to initiate him and to act as his guru. And then Vishnu can approach him in a genuine way, right? So that is the process. So it's an important principle to reflect upon. Now, this next one, Srila Sridhar Maharaj also includes in his introductory section to Prapana Jivanamrita. Yo Brahmanam vidadati purvam, yo Brahma vidyam, tasmai ga palati sma Krishnaha, tam hi devam atma vritti prakasham, mumukshur vai sharanam amum vrajet. In the beginning of creation, he who created Brahma and then imparted to him knowledge of Brahman, he is the self-same Lord Krishna who tends cows. Those desirous of liberation should surrender unto that Lord who reveals the innate function of the soul. Yata nadya chandamana samudre sam gachanti namarupe vihaya tata vidvam namarupa vimuktaha paratparam purusham upaiti divyam. This is from Mundaka Upanishad. Very beautiful. As flowing rivers, abandoning their names and forms, return to the ocean, so the enlightened souls, being completely liberated from their mundane names and forms, meet the supermundane Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam. Very beautiful. Now, this verse is quite an important verse for us, emphasized by our Gurudev. Saraswati Thakur also discussed this verse. And you can see it as like a further development of the final verse of Bhagavad Gita, right? Sarva dharmam prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja, right? We were discussing this in our meeting yesterday, I think. 1866 Bhagavad Gita, right, where Krishna is saying, give up all dharma and surrender to me. And it's actually quite a vague statement if you think about it. Like, what does Krishna really mean? Like, what are you giving up? How are you supposed to give up? How do you surrender? Who are you surrendering to exactly? In what way? That verse of Gita, it's like the highest point of Gita, but it's actually a little vague, a little hazy. And so this verse of Bhagavatam, it's like one of the verses which is kind of elaborating. There are a couple, we could also say the Jnane Prayasham verse and Lord Brahma's prayers is also elaborating on that verse of Gita. And this is another one which our Gurudev has pointed out, is elaborating further on what's being stated in that Gita verse. So this is spoken by Krishna to Uddhava. Tasmat tvam uddhavochidja chodanam pratichodanam pravrittim cha nivrittim cha shotavyam shutameva cha mam ekam eva sharanam. So you see here, even it's echoing those words in that verse of Bhagavad Gita. Mam ekam eva sharanam atmanam sarvadehinam yahi sarvatma bhavena mayasya yakuto bayaha. Krishna says, O Uddhava, totally abandoning the Vedas and their auxiliaries, all of their prescriptions and prohibitions, and everything you have ever heard or may come to hear, take exclusive shelter of me, the life of all beings within your heart. By my grace, you will become completely fearless. And there's a very nice place in Revealed Truth where our Gurudev is discussing this verse more elaborately. Now this is another Bhagavatam verse. Devarshi bhutata nunam pitrinam nakinkarunayam vinicharajam sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam. I love the sound of this verse. It's beautiful rhythm. One who has completely abandoned all worldly duties and surrendered wholeheartedly unto the ultimate shelter, Mukunda, is no longer a debtor to, nor a servant of, the demigods, sages, other living entities, relatives, mankind, or ancestors. And this is quite an important verse. We hear quoted by our gurus sometimes. A big part of the whole traditional Vedic culture is that it's about living in harmony with the environment and living with awareness of what is our role in the environment, and what are we taking and what are we giving, right? And so one of the principles in this culture is this recognition that anyone born in this world automatically has certain debts, right? They have a debt to their parents, right? Their relatives who have given them life in this world, right? They have debts to the sages who are giving knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and knowledge just about the world, for the betterment of our lives here. The demigods, the devas, who are supplying so many valuable resources, right? And so on, right? Humankind, and there's some level of debt to all these different entities. And this is, I think, I would say, one of the failures of, modern Western humanistic thought, right? There's just this, it's a very kind of like narrow tunnel vision way of seeing the world. It's just me and my independent life, right? Which is based on just total lack of vision, right? Lack of awareness. So there's this awareness in the Vedic culture. I'm probably going on too much of a tangent here, but anyway, there's this awareness that, we have these debts, and then how do we, and then how can we become free? How can we honor, these beings who are supplying, so many things to us, right? And so then there's it's given in the scriptures, how can you alleviate the debt to the demigods through sacrifice, to the sages through study of the scripture, to your parents, your relatives, by producing, further progeny, and so on, right? But however, this is one of the points about Krishna Bhakti, because you're not just living, you're not just focused on your own relative existence, but you're actually focusing on the very center of all of existence, the root of everything, that is Krishna. Then, because you're serving this higher principle, then you're not bound by these other obligations. So this is a lot bigger. There's a much bigger discussion. I'd love to say a lot more, but I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent. So we'll just stop it at that. And now this verse, Martyo yada chakta samasta karma nivedi tatma vichikirshi tome tadamri tatvam pratipadya mano mayatma bhuyaya chakalpate vai. When a mortal being completely abandons all mundane endeavors, surrenders himself unto me, and acts according to my desires, he attains immortality and becomes fit to associate with me. This is also Prapana Jivanamrita, and central to the whole idea of Prapana Jivanamrita, right? Positive and progressive immortality. Yesham sa eva bhagavan dayayed anantaha sarvatmana shatapado yadi nirvyalikam te dustaram atitaranti chadeva mayam naisham mamaham itidi swa shigala bhakshe. If one wholeheartedly takes shelter of the infinite Supreme Lord's feet, The Lord bestows his true mercy upon him, and he thereby transcends the Lord's insurmountable Maya. The Lord does not bestow his mercy upon those who ascribe the conceptions of I and mine to the material body, which is nothing more than food for jackals and dogs. Ka panditas, and we're actually just running out of time. How much longer is it, Didi? Can you? Okay, well, maybe we'll stop there then. We can save the rest for next week. Okay, wow, this feels so joyful, so wonderful to be going. There's a whole Bakiyam. Oh, that's beautiful verse. Okay, well, I'll just finish with this verse that I'd started. Kapanditas tvara param sharanam samiyad bhakta priyadita gidi gira suhrida kritagyat sarvanda dati suhrido bhajato vikaman atmanam apyupachaya prachayana yasya. O Lord, you are the truthful, grateful, and affectionate friend of your devotees. What learned person would ever take shelter of anyone but you? You fulfill all the desires of your friends who serve you. You even give your very self to them, and yet you are neither augmented nor diminished thereby. Jai Shri Śaraṇāgati ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Sundar Vrindadev Goswami ki Jai. Okay, we'll stop there for today. Very happy to be on this new journey with all of you. Does anyone want to share any reflections before we close for today? I'm just having a look at our comments here. Oh, there's a nice comment from Marie here. Beautiful.
Hare Krishna. I was really appreciating in the introduction when it was talking about how the Śaraṇāgati is complete in and of itself, and it gave that example of being able to swim, and that you know that you're not going to understand how it's working, that you're getting across this river other than you have the skill. And I think a lot of times there's, in my experience, I've felt pressured, internal pressure, because I see a lot of scholars, I see a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge and they've read a lot. And for myself, like giving myself permission to have the experience despite my lack of shastric or extensive knowledge, and it's like it's okay to just have one book that you're attached to. It's okay if you've read Bhagavad Gita 3 times and you haven't read through whatever the other text somebody else has read, right? And here it's even condensed more down, where it's like these poems of Śaraṇāgati are enough for us, that we can absorb ourselves in these, practice the process, and it's enough. I just really appreciated that.
Oh, very nice. That's a beautiful share. And yeah, our Gurudev, he actually would caution, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj also, they would give caution on, getting lost in the theory, on the theoretical side of things. Now, we need to know something, of course, but it's not that we need to stuff our brains with, everything that's been written, or even have like a perfect understanding of all the principles. That's not what this is about. Ultimately, the idea is that the theory is supporting and enhancing our practice and our realization, right? And that there may not be that much required. Our Gurudev also would say, like, if someone is acting as a preacher, then it's important that they're reading everything, because they're representing. They need to have a clear understanding of the principles. But if they're not in that role, then they can keep it simple, and they're hearing, they're hearing something, some level of reading, but there doesn't need to be so much focus on that. So We appreciate you share. Anyone else want to make any comments? Before we close for today. Mhm.
Thank
Okay.
you, Shaka, for your comments and insights. That's really appreciate that very much. And yeah, happy to go on this with you, the journey with you. It's
Oh,
nice.
thank you, Savasini, for hosting and for taking care of us and also sharing your own insights. All right. Well, I guess we'll close for today. And look forward to next week.
Thank you very much for today. I'm so grateful. You know that I was waiting for this book reading. Do you know that? I told you before.
Yeah, quite a few in our group. They were waiting.
Yes, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Jai Shri Gurudev. Have a beautiful week and see you all next time.
Jai, Jai, Shaka
What
Didi.
Nini, were you going to say something? I see you've opened your mic.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you opened your mic.
Oh, because I want to say Jai, but what time did it start? Like I'm thinking an hour ago, right? So,
yeah.
okay, because I didn't have the time and I thought it was the same as the other day. Sorry, I
Yeah,
was late.
Wednesday it gets confusing because the Wednesday meeting we do it half an hour earlier.
Okay.
I don't know what there was a reason for it, but maybe it's not relevant anymore.
Okay.
I think at one point it had something to do with Chintamani's yoga class or something.
You know
No,
what
there's a
it
Janardhan Maharaj has
Yeah,
the
it was
Zoom at
because of
6:30.
Janardhan. Does he
Ah.
still have that meet? Because we didn't want to clash with his meeting. Does he still have that meeting?
Yes, yeah, it
Chaitanya
starts at
Charitamrita, he
6:30
still reads.
time. Yeah. Just
Okay, so yeah,
five-
then we'll leave it then because I don't want to. We want to make sure everyone has the chance to go if they want. We don't want to clash. So, okay, Dandavat. See you all
Dhanavad.
next time.
Hare Krishna,
Jai.
thank you for your association.
Thank you all.